Did you know, in the show The Walking Dead, the character Negan can be seen playing Gears of War 2? You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For all the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello and welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode 136. My name's Gareth Bronny. I'm going to be your host, and on my virtual left is Mr. James Burks. How you doing, James?
Hey. Not too bad, thank you.
Good.
You alright?
Hey, he's back. Good.
It is.
Yeah.
Let's get you in there before I fall.
Ah, good man. Yeah. And on my virtual right is Mr. Paul Renshaw. How you doing, Paul?
Hi, hey. Sorry, I had to get that in there first then. I'm just a bit sad that James sort of ruined the Jeopardy then. I think the listeners were just sat there waiting to see who was going to be on this week. And he's ruined it. He's just outed me.
Yeah.
At least he didn't out Darren Edwards.
Blimey. Straight in there. Poor Darren's away on holiday. Now he's dropped his margarita, smashed on the ground. And on my virtual opposite, of course, is Sir Richard Dobson. How you doing, Richard?
You're right, it's Darren Edwards here.
Hey, calm down.
Oh, my God. Oh, Darren,
No, my impression was uncanny.
That was very good. He's now...
I'm just checking with HR.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get a warning after this.
It's from Paul, to be fair.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, if you'd have done the Scouse accent in Italian, that would have been perfect.
How's your week been? Let's start with Richard. Richard, how's your week been? What have you been doing?
Nothing as exciting as Darren, by the sounds of it, but I've watched a couple of films, so I'm continuing with the Pierce Brosnan James Bond films at the cinemas. So this week was Tomorrow Never Dies. I've obviously seen that many times as well. But yeah, friend and I were once again laughing at all the quips. I think my favourite in this one was at the very beginning, where he ejects the guy from the back of his plane into the plane that he's above, and he just goes, "Backseat drivers," which always a fan of that one. And funny enough, it was on TV as well at the weekend, so I started watching it, and then I thought, what am I doing here? Because I'm literally going to see it at the cinema in a few days, so I had to pull myself off of ITV.
Good. Don't pull yourself off ITV. Richard won't have them. Right.
Oh, there's a matron just dying to be inserted there. But anyway.
Paul, what about you? What's your week been like?
My week has been absolutely dreadful, thanks for asking. First of all, regular listeners will know that last week I was all excited about going night fishing on Monday night. And then it all got cancelled because one of the fellas that I was going with, his partner decided to have her sister come to visit, and apparently it wasn't the done thing to go fishing when the sister is in the house. So we had to cancel the whole thing, and that made me sad. And then yesterday, just to sort of compound the misery, I had to go to London, of all places. So I was at Covent Garden Flower Market at 5:30 in the morning, having left home at 3. In order to miss the traffic, because it's the only time, before about 5:30 in the morning is the only time that you can actually move on London's roads, I've found.
He doesn't. You don't know what you're doing. That's why. That's
I know exactly what
you
I'm
don't
doing.
know what you're doing. You can move around the whole of London quite easily. Just got to know the right places to go.
If you say the word underground, I'm going to drive down to London.
No, I can drive through the whole of London. It's easy.
You
just have to be in loads of cabs. Easy. It's easy.
No.
When you learn to drive in London, it's fine. It's easy.
It's not a matter of knowing how. I know how to drive in London.
Yeah.
My objections to driving in London is the instant I turned left off the North Circular to come down Edgware Road. What's his face? The mayor of London stuck his hand in my pocket and took £12.50 out.
Yeah,
which I really don't think is fair.
No.
And also, if you leave in a normal town, in a normal place to drive, you would leave a small gap between yourself and the car in front. If you do that in London, you get 3 taxis and a motorcycle courier in it.
Yeah, you just got to be.
And it's just bonkers. You've got to be so aggressive.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Pretend
Londoners need to be a bit nicer to each other, I reckon.
Paul, just pretend it's a city. That's all I say to you when you come down.
A city?
Pretend it's a city.
Instead of I can't use the adjective I was about to use. Instead of a great big outhouse.
Yeah,
just
pretend it's a city when you come down. There's 7 million people in there.
You know, I drive in cities all the time. I drive in Leicester, I drive in Glasgow, I drive in Edinburgh, I drive in Nottingham. No problems. Come to London, forget about it.
Right, yeah. What happened to me this week? A dog got very ill and spent a lot of money, which makes you go, that's why you shouldn't ever privatise the NHS. And I got run over by a moped. And I watched the Better Call Saul finale, which was on Tuesday. And if Better Call Saul fans out there probably seen it, it was a bit of perfection. It ended perfectly. Really good program. And that was the light at the end of Tuesday. I enjoyed that very much. But we're not going to talk about these things of vets.
I don't think you can just gloss over the fact that you got run over by a moped. How did you manage to get run over by a moped?
A moped piled into me when I was sort of trying to sort the dogs out, and I flew into some bins. And they were very apologetic and nearly crying. And then I said, "Don't worry, I'm in a rush," as I limped away. But
was this a stunt for one of your 60
Could have been, stories? Yeah. Should have been a good stunt, but I'm all right. I'm okay.
Goodness. And the dog's okay now. Yeah,
dog's good after £1,000 down the road, but yeah, it's good. So
excellent. So that's good news. Then.
That's good news. Right, you lot. Then what games have we been playing? Let's go with Richard. Oh, James, I'm not
James doesn't get to talk about his week, clearly. You've not done anything exciting.
James, sorry, James. Tell us about it. It's better be good. Tell us about it, James.
Be, yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Now
we built you up.
Yeah.
This is the worst case. I'll go first and you can start low. No, not a lot. I haven't done a lot recently, but I'm watching a Netflix series called Extraordinary Attorney Woo.
Ooh.
It's a legal drama, which, I mean, there's a lot of them out there. But in this one, the main character is an attorney who has autism. And it's just a really lovely TV series about how the character manages in the real world. You know, in awkward situations, discrimination, but it's also quite charming. And there's a bit of romance. And it's just really good.
Oh.
And I've been watching, I think I've watched about 12 episodes, about an hour each. I'd highly recommend it. I think it's number 1 on Netflix in foreign language films, so TV series.
Oh, it's got some great reviews, I suppose, yeah.
It's really lovely. I'd highly recommend it.
Extraordinary Attorney Woo. Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Now, games. Let's talk about games. That's why we're here. Let's start with Richard. Richard, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a couple of games for review. One of them is an older game that when the sequel got announced, Kona 2 got announced a few weeks ago. I was trawling through the TheXboxHub archives to see where the review for the original was, and it wasn't there, which was weird because when I read about the second one, I could have sworn it was a Gareth game.
I think I did it. I don't know what happened there. I'm sure I did it. I definitely, yeah. That feels really weird.
It's very, very odd, but it's got an Xbox Series X upgrade anyway. So if I can't find it, then at least we can go along that vein. That it's had an upgrade. But yeah, I've been playing the original Kona this week. It's a real unusual murder mystery sort of game in this semi-open world. You play as a detective who gets called to this town in northern Canada to help out an old friend, but when you turn up, he's dead, along with seemingly everyone else in this town, and you need to piece together why they're dead. And there's a lot of different mysteries ongoing as you you walk around this town, but there's also some survival elements to it. So because it's in the middle of a blizzard, you need to keep warm, you need to keep fed, and keep your brain active by drinking water and maintaining. I'm trying to think of the word. If you bear with me.
What word are you after?
I don't know.
We need to say it.
Give us a clue.
It's like, so there's three things. There's three bars basically: your health bar, a heat bar, depending on how warm you are, and a bar for your brains, which
On the brain bar. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that well-known one.
And it drops down as you get colder, obviously, and if you don't drink water and that, which then impacts your ability to find things and see as clearly, and the length of time that you can sprint as well.
Right.
So it's an unusual game because there's sort of like almost like a sci-fi element to it as well, which won't go into too much detail because it's interesting to see that part of the story evolve. But yeah, it's like a murder mystery, investigative, survival open world, all of those things together.
Good. And how's it look on the Series X? Is it a little bit of a graphical improve? You didn't play the first one, did you?
No, but I mean, it looks, because it's all in first person, it looks fine. There's a lot of reused assets because I think it's still quite an indie game at the same time. But because it's in a blizzard, there's a lot of white, but the white looks good.
Yeah, I remember it now. Wow, kind of good. Paul, let's go to
Hello.
you.
Let's go to me. Would you like to know what I've been playing, guys?
No.
Is that way?
But I'm going to go to you anyway.
I'll tell you something. What I've been playing is just about any game I can get hold of to get achievements in.
Ah, yes. Me and Paul are in an achievement race, you see, to get to 400,000 first. And it's tight. It's a very tight race.
It is. At the moment, I was just checking the stats before I came on. So far this month, I have earned 18,800 achievement points.
Wow.
And that's still only good enough for third place on my list of friends, believe it or not. The first place is this other fella called Gareth, who's got more than 20,000.
Wow.
I have no idea where he's getting these games from. So if any listeners out there have got any suggestions of games that are cheap and give achievements just for turning them on, please let me know. But when I've not been engaging in cheap and cheerful games, I've been playing a game called Solasta Crown of the Magister, which is on Game Pass, and is basically it's another one of the tactical turn-based RPGs, but it's got a very strong Dungeons and Dragons feel. So much so that when you initiate contact, it rolls the dice to see who gets initiative in the fight and how successful you're going to be and all sorts of things. So yeah, I'm a fair way into that now. I've done the first location, I've gone to the second, and I've just been jumped by about 50,000 birds that appear to be on fire. So yeah, it's not going well at the moment. But yeah, I mean, the graphics are tiny. I wouldn't be at all surprised to learn that it was a PC game first of all, because the stats and everything else is, even on my reasonably sized telly, are so tiny. I have to go and sit on the floor cross-legged in front of the screen to have a chance of reading them. Yeah. But yeah, there's more stats and things than you can shake a stick at. And if you want to be a magic user, you have to prepare your magic beforehand in order to be able to cast it and all sorts of things. It's very complicated, very nice looking, and keep your eyes open for an upcoming review.
Oh, good. Exciting. Any
exactly.
questions from the boys? You don't have to? No. Nothing.
The boys, they don't care, do they? They're just not bothered.
I'm confused by it all.
You're not the only one, mate. I'm playing it and I'm confused. So,
I've got a game that confused you. This is called Thymesia. I think it's Thymesia. I think it's maybe that's how you say it. It's a Souls-like game that I think it came out on 18th, maybe today, and it's a Souls-like game. So you play. You're in this world, and very much Souls-like as well. This kind of town that's been corrupted by sort of plague that's turned everyone into kind of creatures, and your character is like half raven, has these kind of abilities, and your basically is to go around this town and try to find memories, and memories are like souls in the Dark Souls world that you collect, and the combat is very Souls-like, as in your it's very tactical. You have to kind of like be patient. If you die, you have to go back and then recollect your souls. So all the kind of Souls-like type stuff is there. The good news here, but you don't have to worry about stamina, which is quite a nice thing. So it has that kind of, it almost becomes quite like Bloodborne in a sense, in that speed. You know, Bloodborne has stamina, but it has that kind of that speed to it more than a Elden Ring or a Dark Souls. And you know, after playing Elden Ring for a long time, it's nice to kind of go back into that rhythm of like getting to a boss and then dying and then going back and going, how can I do this? Let's work out the rhythm of it. Yeah, it's I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the little world, and I like the way the kind of narrative gets drip fed to you. You don't start with these huge cutscenes. You kind of work stuff out as you go along, like you do in the other Soul game. I mean, the only other things, if you're not a Souls game type fan, I don't think there's much there, but it's really, it looks good. It's fast. I really enjoyed it. I think Paul might like it.
Yeah, I was going to say, why did you get to review it? Did you do it for review or?
Yeah, I think I reviewed it. Yeah, I did review it. Yeah, it's out this week. It's out. It's done.
You know, I thought I was the Souls-like correspondent, but I never even saw it on the list. You must have just jumped in there.
It was on the list for a couple of days. I don't think it was only me that went for it. There you go.
Okay, but it's good then, is it?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's really good.
Is it as good as Elden Ring?
God, no, it's a small development team, you know. So it's almost like if you think of what's the kind of little 2D platform that Souls like?
Mario.
No, the
Sonic.
Richard will help me.
Is it Hades or
Hollow Knight?
Hollow Knight, thank you, Richard. Yeah, and it's in that kind of world of like, you know, small development team, but the same principles. Yeah, but really good.
How is it presented? Is it an open world game or is it like?
Yeah, it has that kind of. No, it's an open world game. It's, you know, completely 360 degrees. You're traveling around, so it has that kind of
you want.
Yeah, but it's not like Elden Ring open world. It's more like Dark Souls or Bloodborne. You know, there's probably different routes and different shortcuts you can unlock, but it's you know, you're going down one route towards a boss.
You keep mentioning Bloodborne, but I don't have a PlayStation. I've never played it.
There you go. Yeah.
So if it's like Dark Souls, then groovy. I like Dark Souls.
I think you like it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Good.
I will look out for. Is the achievements easy?
No. So don't worry about that. Don't start that yet.
Play it then.
Don't play it now.
No. Not till I reach 400,000 anyway.
No. Who's next? Let's go back to Richard. Richard, what have we got?
Not me.
What about poor James?
Oh, God. Do you know what?
Have you two fell out or something?
On my
is there something going on in the background?
I've gone.
I run you over on the moped.
I've got a really weird order. I've put stuff in this order, and it's not working for me. James, I'm so sorry. Go on. What have we got?
Not once, but twice.
This better be good.
First game is Tail Sweeper, which is like a modernized version of Minesweeper. Have you all played Minesweeper?
Mm.
We all know what it is.
Absolutely, yeah.
Good. Right, well, imagine Minesweeper, but in 3D, and when you click the tiles, they fall away into lava.
Mm.
Good, yeah? Yeah. So basically, you've got arcade and classic levels, and the classic ones are like your normal 9x9 grids and 16x16 grids. And it's very basic. But in arcade, so you play inside like a castle, and outside the castle, and that's the theme. So So it's weird shaped grids rather than conventional ones. So you could be solving the grid as you're going up the stairs. So it's quite different, but it is still Minesweeper. I think it's probably the best version of Minesweeper. It gets very tricky now when you've got like 1,000 or more tiles in some of the later levels. But the only thing that really irritated me was that the standard levels aren't necessarily solvable. You've got standard and solvable. So I was playing the standard mode, and I kept thinking, why am I dying all the time? Why am I blowing up the bombs? It's because they actually weren't solvable. It's random.
Okay.
That was very frustrating. Really frustrating. But otherwise, it's a nice little Minesweeper modernisation. It's very cool. And I think it's about £6. It's not too bad. And you'll get a few hours out of it.
Good.
Yeah. Minesweeper.
Tile Sweeper. I've forgotten about that other game. Minesweeper. God, that was my days in the 90s. Stuck in temping jobs playing that. Good. Very good. Thank you, James. That was worth it.
Can I ask a quick question, please?
Yes, Richard.
Of course you can, Richard.
Because there was a Minesweeper variant in Arcade Paradise as well, and I spent far too long playing that. But what are the achievements like for Tile Sweeper?
They're irritating because they're all odd numbers, and it's like opening so many tiles, like thousands of tiles, and hitting so many bombs. I mean, with time, you can easily get them all, but it's just a bit of a slog.
Okay.
I think one of the first achievements I got was for one gamer score, or something stupid.
Yeah.
So once you get that one, you kind of have to see it through.
Yeah.
You can't add the odd numbers. But yeah. Hopefully that answers your question.
Did you say it was about £6?
Yeah, £6. You double check now. It's £6.19.
It's not too bad.
Good. Richard's happy. What else have you been playing, Richard?
Another game that's got odd numbered achievements is, and it's come out today, I believe. It's called Curse to Golf, which is a 2D golf game with rogue-like elements. I think it's rogue-like and not rogue-lite. I don't know the difference between the two. If someone wants to explain them to me, they can do.
No one knows.
No one cares. What's the point?
It's one of those type of games anyway. So you start off on the 18th hole of like the last day of this golf tournament, and you're going to win it and be known as the best golfer of all time. But unfortunately, as you're about to putt for the victory, you die.
I hate it when that happens.
Purgatory, where there's a guy called the Scotsman waiting for you there. He's explaining, you're dead, sort of thing. But there is one way that you can get out of all this if you complete the 18 holes in Purgatory. But rather than it just being a traditional golf course, there's loads of different levels and verticality to it and everything because it's on a 2D plane. But you need to complete these holes under par because it'll give you. I think it gives you 5 shots at the beginning of every level. You can add shots, but every shot you take obviously reduces that to 0. If you reduce it to 0, that's the end of that run. Done basically, and you have to start from the very first hole again. So it feels like it should have almost been done before. In that sense, like it makes complete sense for a golf game to be a roguelike. But it's done really well. There's a lengthy tutorial which took me about 40 minutes to do because it explains absolutely everything you need to know, and then after that it's just trying to beat these 18 holes to then move on. I think there's 4 courses in general, so you need to defeat 4 72 holes in total, and then there's bosses at the end of each one, which I don't know. I've not got that far yet, but I am reviewing it, so I should have a review out soon. I think I've seen a few out, and they've given it very high scores. I've seen a 9 out of 10 and a 5 stars for it.
Right.
And I think it could quite easily be up there once I've had a bit more time with it. But yes, it's an interesting game.
Oh, good. Yeah, I don't like the look at that one. I think it would drive me mad, but I think it would. Yeah, it does look really.
Was that a golfing pun?
Oh yeah, good. And you know I'm doing it. You see, that's it. I really don't know I'm doing it.
Thank you, Amir. I'll wink.
Good. Paul, what have you got?
Hello.
What's your second one?
My second one I'm going to talk about is a sort of shooty game called Afterwave Downfall. Now, I know that you're old enough, Gareth. I don't know if these other two gentlemen are. Do you remember an arcade game called Space Harrier?
I do, yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's a bit like that, except you're not flying around the screen. You're driving a little tiny battleship down a river and shooting into the screen and trying to destroy all these enemies. The story of the game is that there's been a purple meteorite landed on the Earth, and it's transformed normal creatures into baddies. So like the bosses that you have to fight, things like catfish and beavers and stuff. All of the enemies appear to be river related because you never get off this river. And basically you go through the levels, you shoot a load of fish and other enemies, you power up your little battleship. There seems to be a kind of rogue-like, light, whatever it is, element to this in that you earn points that you can then upgrade your battleship with, and the next time you run through the game, those upgrades are still there. So you get extra health, extra damage, that kind of thing. And all in all, it's pretty good. There's 3 levels to it, and then there's a load of little mini games you can unlock afterwards. And best of all for me in my current sort of gaming habits, you can get all 1,000 points of achievements within about 20 minutes. Brilliant. Without even finishing the first level. So, yeah, fantastic. It's got that kind of, even though I'd got all of the achievements, normally when I've got all the achievements in a game, I stop playing it. But this one's got that sneaky little hook. It just keeps dragging me back for another go. It's helped that you can play it co-op as well with somebody on the same screen. So me and my son will sit here and shoot a load of enemies together. And it's quite a good game. I quite enjoyed it.
Oh.
So the review will be live on the site shortly, I understand.
Great. You should have told me this, Paul. I've got that
well,
should have kept this one quiet.
The achievements are really, really hard, Gareth, and you'll hate it.
Yeah, 20 minutes. This sounds like, this is it. It's my backup.
I'm going to be scouring your back catalogue to see what you've been playing, believe me.
Good, thank you. Let's go to James now. This is so I don't miss him out for a second one. James, what have you got?
Hi, James.
Excellent. Right. Digimon Survive is my next game. I played it a week or two ago. I reviewed it, so you can read the full review. But it's basically a game about Digimon.
What are Digimons? I've got no idea.
Digimon, the digital monsters.
Right, good.
And they are the champions.
Can you keep them in your pocket?
I mean, you can keep whatever you want in your pocket, pal. So basically, it's a visual novel and is it real-time, tactical, hybrid. There's a bit of tactical gameplay and visual novel combined, but it's mainly a visual novel. And it focused on these group of teenagers that somehow end up in the Digimon world. I don't give too much away, but they then meet up with some nice Digimon and become their partners, and some bad Digimon are trying to sacrifice them.
Blimey.
As you do. And it's quite dark, pretty morbid, and I think there's a jump scare in the first half hour. It's a little bit eerie. And you meet this pair of kids that don't really talk and just stand there and stare at you. It's all very weird. But yeah,
I've got no
It's a
idea
very
what this
good-
game is.
I was thinking kids that just stand there and stare at you. That's just teenagers, isn't it?
This is brilliant. I love this. It sounds like the
it's
weirdest.
hard to explain
Yeah, I love it.
without seeing it for yourself. But yeah, so you've got to basically fight the Digimon and fight whoever's pulling the strings of the, aggressive Digimon. And the visual novel side is more about building karma and good relationships, deciding who you want to help and not help. And if you don't help certain people, they might die.
Oh no!
It gets really serious. You can actually lose them and their Digimon partner. It's a double dose of devastation. So yeah, if you want a better explanation, watch a video or read the review in full.
Yeah. You could have said it.
How are the achievements?
Long-winded.
All right. No good then.
Now, I think it's 3, possibly 4 different endings. You need to go through it quite a lot.
Wow.
Can you save it at some point and then sort of cheese the endings? Or do you have to play the whole thing again?
It's a new game plus.
This isn't the achievement podcast, do you lot?
Well, I think it's going to have to turn into one, Gareth.
Poor this is thank you.
Any more questions?
No, that game sounds mad. You could have said anything. We would have said yeah. It's on the moon.
I mean, Richard kind of understood, I think.
Yeah. Bruce Forsyth appears. You could have said anything you liked.
The only thing I remember about Digimon is that they're not as good as Pokemon. Is that still the case?
That's a lie.
Oh my god!
Takes a brave man to say that.
Oh my god!
Well, they're definitely not. Digimon were rubbish. Was Digimon the one that had the little, like a little orange dinosaur?
Pokemon. Yeah.
I don't know, a little orange dinosaur thing.
Yeah, he's the main character in this.
That wasn't as cool as like Pikachu.
Oh, come on,
Paul,
again with eyes.
Don't upset the kids.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Anyway,
yeah.
Sorry.
Don't have to mind about London.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on London. I'm sure I saw a
God.
Digimon down there.
I'm going to just really briefly do the last bit because we're going to run out of time. There's a review on the website. It's called A Tale of Paper Refolded. That I reviewed. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed a little platformer, very much in the vein of like Little Nightmares in the way it looks, and the way it's a small character in a kind of like a grown-up world, kind of moving across. But you're a little bit of paper, and for some reason, it doesn't really explain that visual storytelling. And but you can change into different objects. So, for example, it's like origami. So you can change into a little frog to jump higher. You can go into a little ball. That you can go down pipes or kind of move faster. You can change into a rocket at one time to give you an extra boost on the jump. So it has this kind of like little origami feature, which is quite a nice little game mechanic. But it's a really nice little platformer, very short. I really enjoyed it. It's out today, I think. Again, another one out today. The review's out today anyway. So someone's shouting upstairs. It's what happens in London. Shouts. So yeah, enjoy it. Can you hear that, everyone? It's shouting. No, just me. I might be dead in a minute, so let's just move on quickly.
Well, it is London.
It is London. Let's talk about news quickly. There's a couple of bits. There isn't much going on at the moment because they're going to be talking about Gamescom at the end, but there's a couple of, we got some delays that came through. The first one that happened last week, which was the Harry Potter game. That's been delayed now to the famous February window where every game's coming out next year. And I think Richard said, I forgot about this game completely. You did, didn't you, Richard?
Yeah. Deliver Mars as well.
Deliver Mars, yeah.
February 2023.
And we've also got, what else is there?
Evil West has been moved slightly back to 22nd of November.
Right.
And then today, Dead Island 2 is leaked on Amazon. I think that got announced in 2013, but that's due out February 2023 as well.
So it looks like it's going to be a very busy time for all game reviewers and people. It's going to be quite a lot of games in this period. We're going to learn more next week in Gamescom about maybe some dates, some announcements. Maybe we might get a Starfield announcement date. Maybe not. Also, some little kind of cheeky sort of like releases. The games are still getting release dates. So The Chant, which is a game I'm really looking forward to, which is about a kind of cult group and very much in the lines of like The Quarry or something like that. That's got a November the 8th release date, I think. There's a new Ghostbusters game, which is almost like a Dead for Daylight type 4-player co-op thing that's coming out in the... Oh, God, I've made this up now. October.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah. Sounds terrible, yeah. So there's bits and bobs coming out. I think we're going to get a lot more indie announcements coming out now. So it's looking a bit busy the autumn. It's quite exciting. Now, James, you had a nice little interesting story. I just want you to talk about what's going on between Sony. Yeah, Sony
now
and Xbox. Yeah, now I want you to talk about this.
Unbelievable.
He's not going to forget this,
Tell me about it, James. Tell me about this. What's going on between Xbox and PlayStation?
Well, I mean, I know the basics. Essentially, the whole Activision Blizzard acquisition kind of like fallout is that it turns out that Sony have apparently been paying developers for blocking rights to stop them from putting their content on Game Pass and other subscription services. And at first, that sounds quite... You think blocking rights? That sounds really bad. But then that's just another way of saying exclusivity, which everyone's been doing for years anyway. But yeah, so it's all kicking off because Sony obviously don't want Microsoft to get, card and all that. They don't want to get the deal through, do they? Because it's a huge game.
Yeah.
It'll be a huge point in this generation. Once that deal goes through, it's up and up for Microsoft. Surely. But yeah, it makes Sony look bad, but I think really it's just a bit of, well, they're all doing it. It happens in most streaming services. You pay your rights to keep it on your platform. So I don't really care what they do. I put some games. What do you think, guys?
What do you think, Paul? Anything on this? Anything?
The one thing that struck me from reading the story that was posted up is, why is it happening in Brazil? I mean, that just seems odd to me. You'd have thought this would be sort of thrashed out somewhere, like America or Japan or something. It's just a passing thought, but do you know why Brazil?
I know Brazil are quite, from my real world job, Brazil are quite stringent on this kind of stuff. So it might be that they're the ones that are taking a bit of a deep dive into.
But do you think it's that Sony think that they'll have the best chance of winning in this sort of jurisdiction then?
Maybe, yes. So previously when my other company made set-top boxes when I worked for them, we had to declare in Brazil that so much of it was made in Brazil, the parts and stuff like that. So their legal system is quite Brazil centric, and maybe they're looking, as rightly you can understand, I suppose they might be looking at, well, how will this deal, if it goes through, directly affect our country?
Okay, well, that makes sense then. I was just curious as to why that was. As regards the actual issue, well, I mean, like James said, it's saying that they're paying to not have games on Xbox. I mean, that, like you said, that is just exclusivity, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, I don't really know how I feel about it, to be honest, because Call of Duty isn't something that I particularly get hung up on. I'm not a Call of Duty player. So, but obviously with it being a massive game in the world, you can see that one company having control of it would make the other one sad. But for a long time, hasn't there been early release of content and extra content on the PlayStation?
Yeah, I think personally,
So
I think
is
it's
it
right.
just our
Yeah.
grapes then, do you think?
No, I think I said before, it's we get this impression of these developers and these big players, little kind of like cuddly little developers, little indie people in a basement still making. They're major corporations.
Yeah.
the biggest corporations than anything else, which is why I think sometimes we get some of the decisions we've had, like remasters and all this stuff. That they just want their main interest is to their shareholders and getting money. So this kind of activity in courts and trying to stop things isn't anything new for a corporation, is it? It's nothing. It makes sense. If I was McDonald's and Burger King is trying to do something, I'd try to stop Burger King buying up the rights to milkshakes or something. You're going to do it as a corporation. Yeah, I think I was going to say cows. I was going to go for cows. Yeah, yeah. No, it's good. It's interesting though.
I think it's a bit different than just exclusivity rights as well. So, whilst I think Sony are happy for games to be multi-platform, they're paying these developers specifically not to put it in Game Pass. They're like, release it on Xbox, fine, but don't make it a part of Game Pass. I think that's where the issue more is, where people are kind of irked a little bit with Sony in this instance.
But as I said, Richard, I think that makes complete sense. As a corporation, that's what you do. You're trying to find the best way for your competitor not to do it. They're not doing anything illegal. They're just offering a bigger bid. They're not going to, but anyone can, in a kind of open market of that world, they can go, we'll pay you this if you have that in your contract. It's not anything shady or behind the books. It's just going to upset people, on both sides.
It might not be illegal to use that word, but it seems a bit underhand.
But they're corporate.
Just because Sony couldn't get its act together and sort out a decent kind of Game Pass alternative, why do they then say, well, we'll pay you extra money as long as it doesn't go on Game Pass? I mean, that just seems like...
Because they can.
Well, exactly, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just, thinking corporations want to have the best interest of the gamer at heart. So maybe I'm a little naive.
It can be angry. It's just making me disappointed. I think that's how
that's even worse.
Yeah, poor Richard's disappointed. Right, good.
Use the D word.
It's good. But I'm going to move on because we've got a quiz to do, and I've got to go somewhere and not get run over. So let's do the quiz. Now we're going to do an old-fashioned quiz we've done before, because one of our listeners, Chris, he said on the tweet, why can't you do... I like the quizzes, but why can't you do this type of quiz before? So we're going to go back to an old one.
Oh, no.
Yeah, for James. We're going to go back.
Our listener.
Yeah, we're going to go back to just for a one-off last time. We're going to go back to going through the Metacritic user guidelines, people. So what I've got 5 games, and there's from the user. The people, like the ordinary people, who some of them have got some really good insights about gaming. Others might say, I can see the Messiah in my toast, that type of person. So they are not all there, some of them. So I picked a range of these, and what these chaps got to do is guess over 5 questions for each game. Starting with number 1, they would get 5 points. If they go to number 2, 4, 3, 2, 1 down, and they get easier, of course. Yeah, and for a bonus, they get to guess the guest user, the number they gave the game in Metacritic. All clear?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, James.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Are we ready for the first one?
You forgot I was here.
This is for you, Chris. You best enjoy this.
Yeah, please enjoy this. It's either that or the Italian game. Now,
that's next week.
Number 1, first game. First question is for 5 points.
Are we on the buzzer or?
Let's do the buzzers. Yeah, no,
cool.
And you get one guess. Only one guess
per
each.
clue.
Yeah. So let's hear your buzzers, James. Let's hear your buzzer. Paul.
Meow.
Richard.
Womp.
Great. So number 1. Most overrated and most boring game of all time. Game crashes every 15 minutes. The graphics aren't that great. It's overhyped by fanboys.
Meow.
James.
Who was that? Was that James?
James, it was James.
Yeah.
GTA 5.
No.
You stole my answer then.
Paul.
GTA 4.
Good. No. Richard, do you want to have a guess or do you want to move on for 5 points?
I will guess at Destiny.
No. Next one for 4 points. This isn't stupid laser shooting or furry creatures collecting screws. This is the real business. Depending on your skills, it's maybe hard, but it's accessible and easy.
Womp.
Paul. Richard.
Is it Destiny 2?
No.
Meow.
Paul.
Is it Diablo 3?
No. James, do you want to have a guess? James.
Is it Gears of War?
No. No, for 3 points now.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the most stunning games this year. Amazing work and a game to enjoy while you visit the world. Xbox Series X is just on another level. James.
Flight Simulator.
Yay, James. Well done.
Yay, James.
And the other two were boring, to be honest. Nothing but air and sounds. It's like playing Google Maps. And the last one was training was good for learning, but bush flights is where it's really at. So, great, James. Now, why don't you all have a guess at what the what the thing is, and I will get the nearest one there. So, James, what's your guess first one as you run it? What would the points be?
8.3.
Oh, it's an 8.3. Paul? What are you going to
8.4.
And Richard?
This is user review.
Yeah, user reviews, not the actual game, not the critics' reviews.
8.2.
Who was the lowest there?
Richard.
Richard, you got it. It was 7.9. Well done, Richard. Point for Richard.
Sorry, James. Had to do it.
Good.
Unbelievable. Like a sandwich,
Like a dream come true.
Next game. 5 points. This game is big garbage. The world is empty. Graphics like from 2013 or 14. Overrated game.
Meow.
Paul?
GTA 5.
No. James?
No Man's Sky.
No.
Oh, that sounded like a good guess, that did.
Horizon Forbidden West.
No. That's a very good guess. Good, for 4 points.
Sorry, before we carry on, can I just clarify? Are we looking at games on any platform or are they Xbox only?
Xbox. They're all on Xbox.
Right.
There might be multi-platform as well, some of them.
Okay, cool.
This is probably the best game I've ever played. The open world feels so exciting all the time compared to the standard Ubisoft game.
Meow.
Paul?
Elden Ring.
It is Elden Ring. Well done, Paul. Very good. I thought the Ubisoft game might put you off, but it didn't. You went straight through. Next ones are performance issues, network issues at launch. Make me wonder where all these perfect scores come from. 4, it adds to the experience, honestly, of this awesome Lord of the Rings-like universe. When you kill a boss, you feel like you've earned it. And the last one was best game from Software so far. So, Paul, what's your? This is the user.
The user. I'm going to go quite high. I'm going to go 8.6.
Richard.
8.
8. Oh, that's good.
Ooh.
James, what are you going to go for?
8.1.
Richard's got it. It's a 7.7.
Oh,
Richard.
Well done, Richard.
Well
Good
done,
Richard's
score.
Richard.
going to win this.
He is just by getting that. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. It's a 9.6 on the Metacritic critical thing, but a 7.7 there. Okay, good. Let's go to the third game.
Mm-hmm.
I nearly read the title out of the game then. Thank God I didn't. Okay. For 5 points. The graphics are incredible. The story is great and the characters are interesting.
Yeah.
Paul?
I'm going to keep guessing it. Grand Theft Auto 5?
No.
Uh-huh.
James?
Red Dead 2.
No.
Dying Light 2.
Ooh, no. For 4 points. Boring story and not that much gameplay. I played it once and I don't feel like playing it again.
I'd always love these, the way that you can have two completely opposite views. Meow.
Paul?
Was it Destiny 2?
No.
Oh.
James?
Was it Destiny?
No.
If it had been me and you would have fell out.
I'll go Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
No. So I'll go for 3 points. This is one of my favourite ones now. You know, I said to you about people who see the Messiah in their toast. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Ready? Create an account, especially to comment on how terrible this lefty, degenerate, shit interactive movie of a game this is.
Wow.
Oh.
James?
In 12 minutes?
No.
Oh.
Womp.
Richard?
When did it come out? Can you give us that?
I'm not giving you that.
Come on.
You
can't.
Okay.
What was it called? Can you tell me that?
Give us the words.
I'll go for The Walking Dead.
What was that, Richard? Say again.
The Walking Dead.
No.
I will go for The Wolf Among Us.
Oh, no. Also, just to let you know, the reviewer also had this comment. It had nothing late, but I had to write it down. It said, Metacritic, learn how to format your mobile site because writing this review is giving me cancer. So that was that's the kind of thing we're dealing with from that guy. Okay, for 2 points. A gripping horror story where it's hard not to play one more chapter than you've planned to. The tightly directed story has a nice pace due to alternation. Richard?
The Quarry.
It is The Quarry, Richard. Well done.
Well done, Richard.
Richard's
I'd have never got that.
I know. The last one, big fan of interactive storytelling and FMV since Quantum Dreams for Fahrenheit, especially in the horror category. So, good. Richard's on 4, Paul's on 4, and James is on 3. This is tight. Richard, what's the score? What's our lovely people giving it?
I'll go 6.9.
Paul, what are you going for?
I'll go 7.
Oh, James.
What did Richard say?
6.9.
Are you higher, Paul?
I went 7.
6.8
then. Richard sandwich.
James
saw that cup.
James, you got it on the money. 6.8. So it's.
Oh yeah, the bonus points.
No, you don't get a bonus one for that. Well, very good.
Wow, so does that make it 4?
4-all. Yeah, 2 more games to go. This is great. All right. Next game. First one. Audio video masterpiece. Such a joy to play. Incredible voice acting. James.
Destiny.
No.
Meow.
Paul. Oh, Paul, yes. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, hello, yeah. Is it The Walking Dead?
No.
Is it Firewatch?
No.
Think of walking simulators.
Next one. I think the creators didn't have any concept and they simply made the game colourful to sell it.
Meow.
Oh, Paul.
No Man's Sky.
Oh, no. James?
I'm not guessing yet.
Oh, okay.
You took my answer.
Is it The Last of Us?
Womp.
Richard?
I know it won't be this, but I'll go for the most colourful game I can think of, which is Viva Pinata.
No. James?
Huh?
Yeah, James.
Did you say... Can you repeat it? Can you tell me again what it was?
Yeah, I think the creators didn't have any concept and they simply made the game colourful to sell it.
Sunset Overdrive.
That's a good guess, but no. Next one.
That was the one that just popped into my head.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to say. Anyway.
Next one. More of a run-in stroke music sim than a game in the truest sense of the word.
Oh, what is it called?
Oh,
James.
is it The Art for Escape?
It is the Artful Escape, James.
What's
Well
the name of it? Oh,
Yeah.
James,
well done,
you
James.
robber.
The last two things were sick, dope, solid, sweet. Want to play awesome riffs while running through psychedelic alien landscapes. And the last one was, I caught myself holding down the X button for the majority of the game just to hear the main character do a pretty cool guitar solo. So James is on 7, Paul on
Bloody
4,
hell, I
Richard on 4.
couldn't remember it.
James, what's the score? What are you going to go for? What's the score?
8.4.
8.4. Richard.
7.5.
8.4, 7.5. Paul.
Well, I'm going to have to go right in the middle and say 8.
Richard's got it. 7.6 is the nearest.
Oh.
Richard's gone. Oh, it's still close. It's all in this last one.
Win.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
GTA
So exciting.
Yeah.
5. Okay.
You didn't buzz.
Okay. Here's the one. I wasted 4 hours of my time for nothing. I do not trust this developer again.
Oh.
James?
GTA 5.
No.
Meow.
Paul?
Is it No Man's Sky?
No.
Womp.
Richard?
Is it Firewatch?
No. So for 4 points. I didn't expect such a bad storytelling from this game after all the trailers.
Womp.
Very vague.
Richard?
A Plague Tale.
No.
Meow.
Paul?
Is it Destiny 2?
No.
Oh.
James?
Is it Destiny?
No. So
I've got this weird feeling of deja vu.
for 3 points here, this could put Paul in the. If Paul gets it, he gets tied with James. If Richard gets it, he goes above. So great game, good voice actors, stroke music, and an okay story with a weird twist but an unforgettable experience.
Womp.
Richard?
Bioshock Infinite.
No.
Can I have the clue again?
Yep. Great game, good voice actors, stroke music, and an okay story with a weird twist but unforgettable experience. James?
Red Dead 2.
No.
Is it unforgettable experience? Is it Viva Pinata?
No. So this is for 2 points now. So ooh, this is the worst game I've played in a while. On paper, playing through a Groundhog Day type scenario. Sounds interesting.
Meow.
James.
12 minutes.
It's 12 minutes, James. Well done.
As soon as you said Groundhog
James has
Day,
done it.
Yeah.
Just for fun, what's the score?
I don't care. 9.4.
9.4. Richard.
6.
6. And Paul.
6.1.
6.1. It's 5.7. So Richard, you got that.
Look
So
at me.
scores at the end. James got 9. Richard's got 6, and Paul's got 4. But very good, gentlemen. Now let's.
What a stupid quiz.
What a stupid quiz. That's for you, Chris. So, gentlemen, next week, what are you looking forward to very quickly? Paul, what about you?
I have got nothing on my calendar except work.
Brilliant. Paul, well, we're going to put this in now. Where can we find you if we need to get hold of you?
I am on the Twitters, and my handle is at TheXboxHub Paul.
Oh, there you go. And Richard, what are you doing? What are you looking forward to next week?
Well, straight after this, a friend and I are going to record some videos for our new YouTube channel, so I'm very much looking forward to that.
Oh, Richard, what's this new YouTube channel?
We're looking towards video game preservation, but rather than just hoarding physical copies, we're going to try and play those classic games and put them up on YouTube for everyone to enjoy.
Oh, that sounds good. I'm really looking forward to that.
So yeah, we're going to starting putting videos up in a few weeks, but straight after this, we're going to start recording some. So hopefully it goes well.
Great. Are you doing voiceovers and stuff as well?
Yes. Yeah, we are.
That'll ruin it then.
Oh, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. Richard, if we need to get hold of you, where would we do that?
I am on Twitter and Instagram, and my handle is @Dobbo1912.
Great. And James, what about you? What's your next week? What are you looking forward to?
I'm restarting my career lessons next week. So that'll be interesting.
Good.
I've forgotten everything. And I'm looking forward to Richard's new channel.
Yeah, I know.
I'm looking forward to it.
Really looking forward to it. And James, if we need to find you, where can we get you?
I am on Twitter and Instagram at OKidUKO.
Brilliant. And I'm looking forward to 2 things. Thanks Row and Gamescom, which we're going to do Gamescom special next week for next Thursday. I think we're going to record after we get a couple of days of stuff. So we're looking forward to that. And you can find me at GB Briley on Twitter and Twitch. But for now, gentlemen, thank you so much. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.thexboxhub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub, and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.